Welcome to yet another edition of ANM Radda, and this time it is very, very special. For the first time, we have with us the Consul General of the People's Republic of China, and he's going to speak to us on the latest situation that is going on currently in China, and of course, which is all over the world. A lot of things are happening, a lot of secrets are going to come out right now. So he is, of course, as far as I understand, opening his mouth for the first time, and you're getting a first-hand interview direct from the Consul General of China. Welcome to our show, Mr. Liyou.
Okay, thank you very much, Majumdar, and thank to all my friends in India. This is a special time. From the very beginning of this year, the COVID-19 struck China all of a sudden. It caught many of us off guard. It's a crisis and also a big test. In just a few days, the epidemic spreads from Hubei province, the center of China, both in terms of transportation, in terms of education, in terms of industrial development, from the center of the country to the whole country, and through arduous efforts, day and night, in nearly 2 months, the positive trend in prevention and control is now expanding.
How did it happen? How did it really originate? I mean, you must have investigated, probed to find out what is the basic of this virus originating?
This is, as the World Health Organization experts said, that this is a kind of a previously unknown virus, and the virus has no border. So according to Chinese top scholars, they are still working on the very beginning from what it started. So this is not known yet. But as far as I know, I'm not a scientist, I cannot explain in that way. What I can say is, according to the top medical team composed of World Health Organization and the Chinese national organizations, this is a previously unknown virus.
So is China still, as of today, right now, is it still on a lockdown state? What is the situation as it exists in China now?
As I said in Kolkata for a number of times, that if compared with several weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, the situation is much better. Actually, until today, the total new confirmed cases nationwide has been dropped dramatically. It's just maybe 1 digit or at most 2 digits. And the death toll has been drastically dropped. So the situation is good. And also, as many of my friends here know, that my president Xi Jinping visited Wuhan. And yes, I think it's yesterday. So as you can see, with his very strong leadership, decisiveness, and architect of everything, national strategy, this situation is under very effective control, and we are seeing the dawning of I think maybe the end of it in the next weeks.
How did you control the coronavirus? As you suggest that you have been very effectively control the virus in China. China, as we know, is a very vast country.
Yeah.
It's one of the most populous country in the whole world.
Yeah.
So what is the secret of controlling the coronavirus from spreading further in China as of now?
When I use the word secret, I don't mean it's really secret in China. China has been keeping very open and transparent this time. If you follow Chinese media, the central government's information office and the Ministry of Public Health, every day we organized a press conference. Many provinces that have been severely affected, they organize daily briefing and upgrading of the information of the cases every day. So if we may say how China is putting the COVID-19 under effective control, we may be confident now to say that there's a quite good model China is adopting. So here are some of the features I wish I can share with my friends in India, because as you know, India is now having this newly confirmed cases amounting to maybe 60, maybe 55 things like that. India has a very good mirror from Chinese perspective. We are both a billion population country. So what China does might be very, very useful for India to see, at least. And here are the things. The first one is that we have to respond quickly. So China has been responding to this virus outbreak very quickly. Of course, people say at the very beginning we had some chaotic situation, because this is something people don't know. So people was caught off guard. It's quite natural, I think. But we responded quickly afterwards. And the rapid decision making and deployment of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council have greatly enhanced, strengthened people's confidence to overcome the epidemic. This is very, very, very important. And also the other aspect of quick responding could be that we very quickly realize that this is not merely a technical issue or medical issue. Because of the scale of the outbreak, we cannot simply send the number of medical professionals to treat people. That's not all. We realize that this relates to the massive handling of the size of the outbreak, because it's hundreds of thousands of people who rush to hospitals, and the social capability to handle this is really, really unprecedented. So the first is the quick response. The second is the efficient handling of the scale of the outbreak is another issue. So one of the dimension is that aside from the central leadership and the strongest medical team sent to the province, the central government with its very decisive mobilization mobility, we designate different provinces across the country to twin with the Hubei province, so that one province outside of Hubei may be twinned with one or two cities of Hubei province. This is very unique in China. This proved to be very effective in a way that you just imagine that the whole state medical professional capabilities of West Bengal to support one city like Ranchi in Jharkhand. So one state twinning with one city in another state. So there's very powerful mobilization capabilities, and massive resources are rallied to support the Hubei province. The third one would be the responsibility. Of course, you can realize even now the huge responsibility for the government to take care of the people. It's not votes, you know. In many of the Western democracies, people talking about the leadership in grabbing the votes. But in China, it is the safeguard of people's life that always matter the top. So Chinese central government, the Chinese central, the Communist Party of China, they realize that at this time of the crisis, the major crisis facing the nation, it is the top responsibility of the government to save lives of people. That is very unusual because while China save lives of people, we also thought that China intends to create a shared future for human beings, for shared community of human beings. So while we are doing everything within China, sending the best people to the province, we also share this information very quickly with the World Health Organization, so that the World Health Organization can inform the world community promptly. So you can see that the World Health Organization chief, they always said that request other countries outside China to share information about the numbers from their country. But so far, I think people around the world realize that what China does really has the ultimate value for other countries to really take serious.
Yeah, one aspect which China has done very effectively is to cut off, is to block people from moving inside their country, so that stopping the spread of coronavirus within China, which is very effectively maintained. But do you feel that the rest of the world has been able to follow this model, because otherwise it wouldn't have spread in 100 countries?
I think from the very beginning, many people in the West, they do not see the value of this massive lockdown because it's not easy. And also, as you may see, the media in China and elsewhere, they compared what Italy is doing now. So the quarantine of the country, 60 million people. New York Times said that it's it's sacrifice of economic freedom, economic cost to the country. But when New York Times said the same thing for China, to quarantine, to lock down the city, the millions population city, it said it limits the freedom of the people. So it is the kind of double standard. It's the two standards. But what China does, as I said, we put people's life first. We safeguard people's lives. So, but this relates to another dimension, as I said. It's not only the medical issue, it's the social management issue. It's about how we govern our society. So when this major crisis happened, to one country, we know that it has no border, the virus has no border, and we have to try everything we have. We adopt everything. We treat people with everything we're having because we don't have the vaccine. We don't know what had happened. We don't know where they are from. So in order to contain and curb the spread of the virus, we adopt, I think, that the state-of-the-art social management mechanism that is called the grid management. We divide the country into grids, that is communities. So nationwide, we demanded the communities across the country not to travel across the neighborhood, across the community, so that people don't transmit the virus. This is one thing. The other thing would be something like, because Hubei province, especially Wuhan, the epicenter, is different from the rest of the country, because the virus spread initially from this epicenter to the rest of the country. So over time, we realized that provinces that are very far from Hubei, they may take different grid management. So in Hubei, the whole province basically is a quarantine zone. But in the very far province from Hubei, it may be one specific communities that need quarantine. So the massive lockdown is not the whole country, but rather it differentiates from province to province, and also it it differentiates from phase to phase. From the very beginning, maybe most of the provinces and cities in the country will take a grade A response. So after weeks, we see the effect, we see the control working, we downgrade this response grade. That's why we are seeing that in the province, because the province has 16, maybe 15 to 16 prefectural cities and many, many counties. So areas around Wuhan is still the epicenter.
Grade A.
Yeah, Wuhan is very, very, the situation is still, we cannot take leisure, we cannot relax. But in other counties and cities, quite far away in the very corner of the province, the people there, they may downgrade and relax their regulations so that the people can move more freely.
So that has started?
It has been started. And this not only in Hubei province, because Hubei province in countrywise, Hubei province is epicenter, but in the country, for example, my home province, Jiangsu province, in Guangdong province, in Zhejiang province, these are the provinces that have been affected by the virus. They are not epicenter. So they have been recovering from this quite early. I think it's maybe 2 to 3 weeks back. These coastal provinces, not the center of the virus, these coastal provinces have been gradually returning to normal. So people, especially the factories, manufacturing in these provinces, they have been inviting migrant workers from the inland and heartland provinces to back to work. That's why you see China's economy is gradually returning to normal.
What about Yunnan province?
Yunnan province is one of the less affected provinces. I don't have the figure now. It's less affected in a way that it has less affected cases. Many of the cases are those migrant cases. People coming from the center of the country, and they are affected. So when they travel, they realize that they get affected. So now it's basically, Yunnan is basically recovering. One of the good things I can share with our friends in India is that hundreds of Indian students, they go to Yunnan province for medical degrees. So when the COVID-19 happened in China, it happened to be the Chinese Spring Festival. It's holiday, winter holiday. So many of the students chose to return to India. But still, as far as I know, Kunming Medical University and Dali University, they have altogether roughly 80 Indian students. They chose to stay on campus. So when the outbreak happened, these students in Yunnan province, they have been taken very good care by the municipal government and the provincial government of Yunnan. So I request our Indian friends. You are aware now. It's very good. This is one thing. The other thing is, I don't have the specific numbers, but still I have at least I know 2 Indian doctors who are working in China alongside with the Chinese doctors fighting the COVID-19. One is in Zhejiang province, the other is maybe Hubei province. I do appreciate this new era Dr. Cotness.
So one other thing that we really wanted to ask is something that we've heard in various circles, various sources, that you have developed a vaccine against coronavirus, and this is in an experimental stage, and it's shortly you're going to come out with that vaccine for the whole world. So because the World Health Organization declared this as a pandemic, so it's spread all over the world. So they're all looking up to China to develop that vaccine. So what is the status of that?
This is something beyond my knowledge. As I said, the World Health Organization and the top Chinese scholars, they realize that this is something, the coronavirus, novel coronavirus, is a previously unknown virus in human history. Up to now, we don't have any specific cure to this virus. I think this morning I heard that the earliest vaccine would be put to clinical use late April. Late April. This is one thing. The other thing is about the death toll. The death toll and the number of people who have been cured. Basically, we can say the affected cases are put into several categories. One is the minor, the other is the severe, and the most severest one is the fatal. And hundreds of thousands of minor cases have been treated and cured and released from hospital. You can see that most of those people, they are returning home. 16 makeshift, the temporary hospitals in China. Actually, it's kind of a shelter hospital. Was set up at the very beginning so that those minor cases can be collected, because the country is adopting a policy that is, we should not encourage people staying only at home to get quarantined, because many of the cases, it proved that it is the family gathering transmission. So it's better to move people from home quarantine to the temporary hospital so that we can make the most use of the existing medical resources. This proved very successful. The good news is, up to yesterday, all those 16 temporary hospitals stopped because all these minor cases, they have proved to be cured. So it's not necessary to have those massive 16 temporary hospitals. Now we can concentrate all our resources on those severe cases and those fatal cases. As I said, the fatal cases have been dropped dramatically as of yesterday.
So what's the official figure now? How many affected? How many? And what's the death toll?
I have here. I have several numbers that I can share with you. Until March 11, the overall confirmed cases on the mainland of China had reached 80,793 by end of Wednesday, including 14,831 patients who are still being treated, 62,793 patients who had been discharged after recovery, and 3,169 people died of the disease, and 253 people were still suspected of being infected with the virus. So now we have 253 suspected cases, and the death toll is 3,169 total. And this is
as of today. As of today, you have 253 cases of suspected corona.
Very few now.
Very few.
Yeah.
So, and any new cases which have come up over the last 24 to 48 hours?
And on March 11, it's 1,318 people were discharged from hospital after recovery. Only 15 new confirmed cases. Only 15 new cases. So by tomorrow, I think this number would be, I'm sure, will be dropped even low. Maybe below 10. This is, I guess.
Great. So it's been a huge success over the last 1.5 months of the Wuhan. Which started off from Wuhan province,
Yeah.
but then it had a cascading effect in the sense that it hit the economy and hit the tourism industry, hit the airline industry. So what is the status of the airline and the tourism industry in China at the moment?
This is a very good question, and people are talking about the impact of the virus on the country. I told my friends here a couple of days ago that I think the figure should be new now. I told friends here that nearly 70% of the manufacturing and the major projects of China are returning to normal. And a figure in Guangdong province said that more than 90% of major factories, they are returning to normal. People are traveling back to their work. When I talk about this, I mean it is those who do have the official good job. For example, people from Guangdong province, they may work, have a good work in Beijing, so they need to go back to Beijing to work, and by that they need to travel. So the travel industry, the hotel, it varies. As I said, the country has been taking differentiated approach regarding the degree of the seriousness. For example, in Hubei province, it's still situation is still stringent, and people still need to be very cautious. But from Guangdong province, where the hit is not that serious, the normalcy is much bigger. So people may wish to go outside. They may go to different places, but still, as I said, my government, my people, my leaders said that as far as we don't have the total win, we do not claim the total success. So when people are in different places, they take different measures of certain degrees of discretion. The hotel industry, the travel industry, the aviation industry may be recovering from state to state. This will take some time. But this new situation is that, as I said, while China has been seeing the success, it's just right corner. We have seen much more new cases outside China. So as you can, you know that the United States today, they announced that they ban all air traffic from Europe except the United Kingdom. So this will hit the aviation, they hit the travel, and also the cruise. As you see, that American said that they will maybe they will take different maybe government fiscal policy to support the cruise industry, because cruise is the mobile big luxury hotel. But in China, is different in a way that within China, we will see this gradual upgrading, improvement of the situation. So people in China, travel within China will be good, will be better and better. But for those who are willing to travel to other countries, the picture would be different. So give you just some perspective. My friend in the business in China, they asked me that could they come back to India, because their job is in Kolkata. As you can see, it still takes some time. India is, in my view, is having a better experiences as of now, because you have, compared with maybe some of the European countries and Americas, you have less affected cases. Maybe between India and China, I don't know the figures now. Maybe, as I said, China is willing to share, willing to cooperate. I think that the aviation, the airlines, maybe I don't know, maybe resumed earlier than the rest of the other countries, so that the business representatives of some of the Chinese companies, they can return to normal work in Kolkata soon.
Great, that's a very nice piece of this thing. I might hand over the mic to my colleague Monisha. Monisha is very eager to ask you a few questions about touring China. I mean, when can people from here go and tour China? And these are the aspects that she has personally felt about it. So I'll hand it over to Monisha.
Yes. So first of all, I'll just ask one question is coming out. I mean, after this conversation, I'll ask is the share market, which is going really down. So what do you see? I mean, the business between your that territory like Eastern India, specifically Kolkata and China. Mm-hmm. So what is the effect? I mean, it will take to recover. I mean, how much time it will take to recover?
Okay, I'm not an expert on shares, on stock market. I cannot talk that way. I only know that in the 5 states in East India, there are maybe 20 to 30 Chinese companies. Some of them are quite big. The situation is that for those who remain in Kolkata, they didn't go back to China for Spring Festival. Some of them have issues, but they are trying to resolve. That is, they have to renew their business visa so that they can stay here. And for those representatives from Chinese companies working in Kolkata who return to China for Spring Festival, they are having difficulties to return. Because as you can, you know today that almost all the existing Indian visas from other countries, it would not be valid for those who want to come to Indian shores. So the situation would be, let's see how long it may take for these Chinese business representatives to return to Kolkata, to return to their project areas, because it's not only in Kolkata, it's also in places like Jharkhand and Orissa, and but I'm quite confident because, as I said, India may, from the very beginning, take very decisive measures to curb the spread. And you have less affected cases. And also, luckily, in Kolkata, as far as I know, we don't have any confirmed cases relative to the South and West India. So let's see how long it may take for these business representatives of China to come. So this is one thing. The other thing is, I'm doing, my office, I have been monitoring the situation all the time because, yes, it's true that my families, my friends, everything I know, okay, they are in China. We want to invite business delegations from China to visit Kolkata, and it's working. It's working. If it were not for this COVID-19, maybe we could have had at least 2 very senior business delegations from China. It was all arranged, but it was all due to this virus were cancelled. But let's say that in the next few weeks, let's see how long it may take for our Indian friends to decide how long would it take for them to get their visas renewed, for business delegations to come to India.
What are the specific business which will face problems due to this?
Well, from the existing business perspective, Chinese companies, they invested in power generation, coal industry, aluminium, and rickshaw manufacturing, and some of them are based in Kolkata. Others, they are project based. They are in other states like Jharkhand, in areas close to Bihar. Others in Bihar. In Odisha. What we are trying to encourage is because business development is time consuming. It's just not overnight decision. We need to do both way. For one thing is that our friends in East India, especially in West Bengal, should promote West Bengal to other countries, including China. Actually, I advise our friends in East India. You have so many good chambers of commerce. You should go to China. You go anywhere, but including China. And this is one thing. The other thing is I strongly recommend that West Bengal strengthen your relationship with the Yunnan province. As people, maybe especially young people, seeing through the prism of this COVID-19, China has shown massive and tremendous success in applying the state-of-the-art technology, medical, AI, robot, the infrastructure, even medical education. People may not be aware that China has been developing in such a way that it shows its strength in mobilizing resources. I think this may enhance the confidence of our East Indian friends that Yunnan province is the one that has been a vanguard in using the latest infrastructure development, artificial intelligence, and also medical education. And of course, folk art, performing art, this is quite natural in Yunnan province. And also the good environmental protection experiences, also the area that I East Indian fans can see. I share this with my friends quite often, that for East India, especially West Bengal, the southwest of China, including Yunnan province, is the closest to you. So you can make fuller use of this closeness, this proximity, so that once you touch on the land of Yunnan province, by way of good, very sophisticated aviation network, good network of highways, and especially the good network of bullet train, you really get connected with the whole China. So it's a geographical advantage for West Bengal. My office is dedicated to working with the friends, both business communities and the friends in the government, to strengthen West Bengal's brotherhood or sisterhood with the Yunnan province.
So just one question, that is, as people are very much worried till now, is there still anybody left from Kolkata or Eastern India in China?
Sorry, your question?
Any Indian left in China and from your zone?
They are left in China?
Yeah, still stuck in China.
They get stuck in China? Mm-hmm. I don't know anyone stuck in China. I told you that in Yunnan province alone, there are maybe roughly 80 Indian students. They chose to remain on campus, and so when the coronavirus happened, and Chinese government, both the center and the province and the municipalities, they take very good care of these kids. I don't see anyone really get stuck, because it's a medical intervention, professional intervention, and a non-medical intervention, both applying to the country. So basically, the whole country is being under very good management. And if people get stuck, I mean, it is because of so-called stuck, it's because of the quarantine lockdown. By putting people in communities, in house, in the grid, in the neighborhood, and the basic livelihood, their food, their fruit, their generic medicines, and also their online education, these needs are satisfied. So personally, I don't see anyone get stuck. But we understand that from the very beginning, many countries, they evacuate their offices from Wuhan. As you know, the Americans are the very first to evacuate their personnel from Wuhan. And also from here, about this, I do appreciate the Indians' support to China. I think you dispatched 15 tons of medical supplies to the province, and also I think my government provided support when India said that you want to evacuate some of your personnel from Wuhan. We did mutually help each other, and the fact is that both way worked. So in China today, as you can see, after weeks of hard work, hundreds of thousands, I think 43,000 medical professionals from all of the country working in Hubei province. Now it's under control. So I'm very pleased to see that.
So I'll just give it back to you.
Thank you very much, Consul General. That was a very, very extensive report on ground zero situation in China as it exists, and you have touched every aspect, not only the way coronavirus, and you have tackled coronavirus, but also about the business aspect of it, and how relationship between different countries and how it's spreading, and how you have been able to put a stop to it. And we definitely hope that when China has been able to put a stop to it, as you say, then the world is also going to be able to put a stop to it. But the most important thing that came out of this conversation, that I understand, is the vaccine that are going to develop in April. So the whole world is looking forward to that vaccine. Everybody is looking forward to that vaccine that is going to come up. And of course, there is a sense of scare still exists among people, the rest of the world. New cases are coming up in different countries. But then there is a tunnel of hope, a simple light of hope that this may not continue beyond another 6 months, and it might be able to arrest coronavirus, worldwide spread of coronavirus, and the scare that is associated with it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for talking to us. I really appreciate that, and we appreciate everything that you share with our viewers today.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot, and that's yet another episode of A&M Adda. Keep watching A&M News, and we're going to come back next week with something more interesting. Thank you.